baby Evie. Looked gorgeous.
Dressed up as a little old lady and looked adorable. Jackson step back three is good. And jump, Sarah?
No, I did not.
Mills hits the jumper. You came dressed up for Halloween, actually. Stewart gets the roll off the window.
A variety of working the inside out.
We talked about his team has been a little better than league average.
And getting familiar with one another.
Jackson's jumper rattles in. Pocket pass to Aldridge. Sweep.
How consistent.
In the mid-range. Here's Bembry, catch, fire, and hit from three. 5 minutes off the bench. Loose ball, Bembry gets to it. Mills the flick ahead. Bembry out to Carter in the corner. Out of
work and effort that they do behind the scenes. So a huge thank you to our beloved Truck.
The team stacked top to bottom. Off. Johnson into the game for Brooklyn. He has not played the last two. That layup will end a 10-0 Nets run. In the corner, that three is good. Denver, San Antonio before coming to Detroit. Aldridge off one leg, and he is automatic. Frank Jackson's jumper is good.
The same thing for a lot of these Pistons with the way that their offensive numbers looked and how they have produced.
Harden, step back. Oh, he was talking about James Harden before the game, and he said, you know, we've been preaching aggression. He said James is so brilliant, and his IQ is so high that, you know, sometimes, especially if he's still finding his way physically a little bit, he could maybe tend to overthink each situation instead of just attacking. And so that's been part of the conversation with James as he works back up to full speed. Durant off the bench and in the hoop.
Would you expect anything less?
No, you wouldn't. 11 points for Durant. Nets have outscored the Pistons 17-7 over the last 4+ minutes. Hayes, floater, no. Harris in, grabs the rebound. Blake Griffin getting ready to check back in for Brooklyn. Durant, Aldridge, Harris, Johnson, and Harden, the 5 for the Nets. Harden trying to work Hayes. Oh, Hayes got it. Hayes able to poke it away. Bay, the lead feed, and the lay-in from Frank Jackson.
Well, and you saw that Bay was already on his way over. They're going to be sending two, especially if you load on the strong side of that isolation with a player like Harden.
Harden draws out Stewart. Has the switch. Aldridge has it on Bay. Aldridge gets into the paint, went up with a left hand, and wanted a whistle, did not get it. In the corner, Jackson digs it up and left it short. Low pass might have affected the attempt. I see you trying to see around Blake Griffin. He's a tall man, isn't he? Harris from the elbow hits the jumper.
That's a nice screen.
Yeah.
This time a screen on our vision.
You prefer the more diminutive players, not that there's many, when they're going to stand for a while before checking in. And a foul called late on Aldridge. Free throws coming for Killian Hayes.
And take a look at Joe Harris here on the left side of your screen. He's got an opportunity just to cut right to the basket. Instead, foul line. A little flare out, finds the open space on the floor.
And a better start for Harris, 4 of 5 from the floor to begin this game. He's been such a ridiculously consistent player over his Nets career, always ascending, that I think, Sarah, when he goes through a few games of struggle like we've seen at the start, especially shooting, it's so jarring because you're just not used to seeing it with Joe. Same sort of thing when we saw him struggle down the stretch of that second-round series against Milwaukee. It's so jarring because you're just used to thinking everything's automatic with him.
Right, and I think that's a part of it for all players and just going through certain phases where they are struggling.
Durant ducks in, kicks out, and the Nets will have it out of bounds. 11 to shoot.
And Joe Harris is someone, and he's had his moments here in the early part of the season. Blake Griffin, another player that you would expect at some point the shooting that we've seen out of him to continue to improve. And just, I think there's more focus on it when it's the start of the season as opposed to sometime in the middle of January.
Right, you have a little 6-game or 7-game stretch then. It doesn't draw the same attention. Shot clock fading. Griffin gets it to go. He was about to pass it out to the wing, and I think he saw Harris and Harden pointing, you need to put that up because of the shot clock. And Griffin was able to finish. Here's Jackson. Oh, nice roll. Olynyk gets free for the flush. Olynyk played very well last night.
Yeah.
He was 28 minutes at 18 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and the Pistons win over Orlando.
A really smart offensive player. And a different look whether you have him or Isaiah Stewart in the game.
It is just feathery every time from Kevin Durant.
Nice description.
Bay leaning? No. Bruce Brown gets ready to check in for Brooklyn. Here's Harden setting up Harris. Harden surveys, lobs in, help comes to Griffin, and a foul called as Hayes caught the side of the head of Griffin.